Hey guys, Matt here with Built Right Industries. Today I'm going to show you how to install the Dash Mount Pro on your 2021 and newer Ford Bronco 2-door or 4-door. First we'll show you the parts included in the box. Next we'll show you the tools that you're going to need to do the installation, and then we'll walk you through it step by step. There is some drilling involved, but it's very simple, it's very straightforward. If you follow our instructions, you're going to have no problems. Let's get to it. All right, so this is what's included in your Dash Mount Pro for your Ford Bronco. The first thing you're gonna notice out of the box is your Dash Mount plate, the top plate. Then you've got a smaller box inside the main box. That's gonna have feet. These are side specific. As you can see, I've already removed the very high bond adhesive there because we don't need that for the Pro install. You're gonna have a small bracket here. That mounts to the center of the dash. It should have two pre-installed threaded inserts on the back side. Then you're gonna have four rubber well nuts. You're gonna have the 4 bolts that go with those well nuts. Then you've got 2 small flathead screws and 4 medium-sized flathead screws. Okay, so to complete the installation, you're gonna need a drill, or I'm using a cordless impact, and I'll explain why in just a minute. A 3/8" bit or a step drill that'll get you there. And then you need 3 sizes of Allen keys. We've got a 5/32, a 1/8, and a 3/32. And then you're also gonna need a T15 TORX driver. I find it's easier if you've got a driver like this, but if you do have a smaller Torx key, that will work just fine also. So let's go take a closer look at why I'm using an impact here. All right, so just to briefly explain what we're trying to do as far as drilling and why your choice of tools can be important. I'm using an impact 3/8" drill bit along with my small cordless impact here. The issue is we're trying to drill a 3/8" hole here, and as you can see, we run into the windshield. So I drilled these 4 holes during research and development, and I did them just like this, at an angle. I started with a smaller hole and I worked my way up to 3/8, and that was just fine. Another option you might have if you have a step drill or a stubbier drill or something else would be to go this route, all the way up to 3/8. So this is gonna be a little bit up to you. You can do it with a standard drill and a standard bit. You just gotta be careful as we're drilling to not let the drill bit wander too far. The well nuts that we include are a little bit forgiving, and if you really screw it up, give us a call, we've got a solution. But this is gonna get the job done for you if you just go smoothly and slowly and take your time. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is pre-assemble our top plate with the mounting feet. That's gonna help us locate these holes for drilling. So I've got my passenger side mounting foot here. You'll be able to tell where it fits. There's a nice notch here. And then I've got my 1/8" Allen key and 2 of the larger flathead screws. Each foot has 2 brass threaded inserts that are molded into that glass fiber nylon. I'm gonna get those started loosely and then just a little bit snug. This is gonna help the plate center on those 2 holes using the countersinking. And then I'm gonna tighten them a little bit further. This is not something you should really need to crank on, just something like that. Looks good, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Getting one started just loosely like that. Get the other one started. And I'll note that it's normal for this top plate to have a little bit of bow to it. As we're punching these features, the material moves a little bit. It's part of the reason it's such a great idea for you to, on the Pro install, use the drilled mounted method versus adhesive. All right, so I'm gonna block your view here for a second. I'm using my T15 TORX driver. There are 2 small screws down here holding in this plastic accessory ready bracket from Ford. Got one there. If you're gonna feel them get loose, you can just leave them in these like cavities. All right, so now that both of these screws are loose in here, we've got to pry this off. I'm just gonna stick my T15 in here and pop this off. Now the 2 screws should be in the bottom of these cavities here. Pull those out. Try not to drop those back into your dash because we're gonna reuse them. Okay, so now we're gonna install the Built Right center bracket here into those same 2 mounting points. It sits in here something like this. You have to work a little bit blind unless your head fits up here against the windshield. Okay, so what you're gonna wanna do is pick up this bracket, get a screw started in one of the holes, and then kind of guide it in. And you may have to feel down here. I've got one just started there. Before I go any further, I'm gonna grab my second screw and reach down and get that started as well. Once I've got that, we will give you guys a better view of what it looks like when those two are started. All right, so we're just gonna finish tightening these. I'm gonna hold the bracket. I'm holding the bracket closest to the rear of the vehicle. Just tighten both of those down. Nice and sturdy. All right, next step. Okay, so we've got our pre-assembled dash mount here. Put it in place. You'll start to get an idea of what that's gonna look like. Now we're gonna grab our two smaller flathead screws along with the smallest Allen key, and once again, get them started loosely. We do mask those threaded inserts, so everything should go in really nicely. There should be no cross threading or sticking. If you feel that, you may wanna take a look and clean out the threads. Do not over tighten those. Those are very small threads. So now with that, we've got this in place. You can see it's pretty stable. If there was some adhesive there, you know, you might feel okay with it. And if you do, go ahead and use it like that in the center here. That's a really strong mounting point. I know we want to mount devices out to the edge here. So we're going to continue this installation by showing you how to mark these feet and drill the dash for the most secure installation. Okay, so the next thing we're trying to do is locate these two holes, the drill points for this foot. So I'm gonna use my hand to make sure I'm pushing this down a little bit, and then I've got a pick tool. You could use anything sharp. And because I can't really see what exactly the center of that is, if you had an extra set of hands, you might be able to do that. I'm gonna go around the outside edge and kind of feel around and mark this soft plastic in both holes so that I can pick up the center of that when it's time to drill. I'm gonna repeat this on the other side. Now that we've got the 4 holes for both feet marked, we can remove these 2 smaller flathead screws in order to remove the pre-assembled dash mount and drill our holes. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier in the video, we've already drilled the 4 holes needed for the Pro installation in our Broncos during development. So I've scribed the same holes in the location for the standard installation, which does not require drilling, but I've scribed those the same way right here so that I can demonstrate the drilling process for you. You will just be doing it back in the Pro location. I've got my pick tool here. I'm gonna poke a hole. This is how soft the dash material is here. I'm actually kind of work a hole in. In lieu of a center punch, I'm gonna kind of poke this hole here for my step drill to follow. All right, so I'm gonna start with the easier of the 2 holes, which is the one closest to me. That's because the angle of our drill is less severe. And I know where 3/8 inch is on my step drill, but you're gonna wanna keep an eye out for it. You're gonna see me stop and check a couple of times. Let's get to it. Okay, so now we're gonna drill the hole closest to the windshield. This one's a little bit tighter because of the angle. I'm just gonna go slowly. I'm probably gonna start it with a step drill here, and then I'm gonna finish it with a normal drill bit. Okay, so once you've got your holes started in all the locations, you're gonna wanna make sure your well nuts fit. So this one, and you want it to be pretty tight, but this one, I can feel I'm having to push a little too hard there. So I'm just gonna open that up a little bit. Those sort of things until that well, oh, perfect. We're gonna repeat this in all 4 locations. Okay, so you will find, like I did, that the step drill is a great way to start these holes. Using an actual 3/8 inch bit is a good way to finish them because, like in this case, there's something down there. You just wanna go as shallow as possible, and on a step drill, 3/8 is, you know, further up. So when you're finishing your holes, use a 3/8 inch bit. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put our well nuts into each of the 4 locations. Again, we do want them to be a little bit tight. Sometimes a little tool helps you pop them in. We got 2 here, and then we've got the 2 on the passenger side. A little circular motion helps work the rubber well nut into those. We're good to go. Okay, so now we're gonna maneuver our pre-assembled Dash Mount Pro into place again. We've removed the VHB from these feet so we get nice contact with those well nuts. We'll put this into place, and we're gonna put those 2 center screws in. Those are the smaller flathead screws. I know you've heard me say this once already, but do use caution as you're screwing those in. They are small threads. All right, and then our final step of our installation is going to be installing the 4 larger socket head cap screws. I'm gonna start these all to get them started. Okay, so as you start tightening this down, it's gonna be loose, and then it's gonna start to feel snug for quite a while. And that is as the socket head's cap screw is sucking that rubber well nut up against the back of this plastic. You're compressing that rubber. So it's never gonna feel really tight, and we don't need it to. Once it gets, you feel it get a little bit more snug, that's good, it's not going anywhere. All right, and then we're installing the last 2 larger screws. You may need to kind of move them around to find their way. Screw it in as it gets snug, but you don't need to go crazy. Do the same thing over here. As you're tightening it down, you'll feel it go from snug to, I'll call it snugger, and then that's not going anywhere. Okay, so with that, your installation is complete. Now it's time for you to experiment with attachments and accessories. If you come up with something that's cool, we'd love for you to tag us on social media. We'd check it out, we might share it. If you have questions, comments, feedback, please feel free to mention them in the comments. Find us via email, give us a phone call, social media. Wherever you are, we'll try and meet you there and get you taken care of. Thanks for watching.